Welcome into Sports Tonight. Baillie Burmaster joined alongside Emily Gagnon, and we were actually joking about this. When was the last time we've actually been able to do this together?
It was the very first day that we put this on the Peachtree Sports Network, so
Yeah.
months ago. And then I think the only other times we've actually done it together has been when you've been live at
In the
Falcons
field or something.
I've been live at SEC Media Days. It's been a minute. The ladies are back
The
on
ladies.
a very cold Tuesday here in Atlanta. Baillie joked earlier she wanted to wear her jacket. I was like, do it. I'll wear my jacket with you. But she's appropriate.
Both
okay?
with our puffers
Yes,
in here.
because that's what we were wearing in the building, guys. That's how cold it is here. We are not used to this, but funny enough, Baillie, like you're kind of used to it still, right?
I was going to ask you, are you still used to it being from
No.
Canada?
No.
Because you were in
No.
Florida for a good bit and then have been here, right?
That's right. And your blood thins so fast. So I am not interested. I was talking to my dad last night. It's like in the negatives in Ottawa, Ontario right now in Canada. And he's got like the snow blower out. He's riding it, trying to get the snow cleared off the driveway. It's a mess. I'm like, Dad, be a snowbird.
Be a
And he won't do
snowbird.
it.
No, I'll say this, it gets out of your system rather quickly. This morning I was like, oh, this isn't bad, but as the day has gone on, it's gotten colder and colder, and even I was like, I did not bring a thick enough jacket.
It's the wind.
It is, and it's only going to get worse. I think we're supposed to get down into the teens.
I
So
want nothing to do with it.
the good news is for Atlanta United, they were able to practice indoors at the Benz today, kicking off preseason. They did not have to be outside. We'll see how the rest of the week progresses. But Em, what is your take on Atlanta United after how they ended last season, getting into the playoffs, but ultimately falling to the Crew?
I know you talked to players today, so maybe you can give a better idea of where they are as far as their mental and what they're talking about today. But for me, it was just a disappointing season, and I know the players feel the same way. It's so hard for this club to live up to the standard that was set so early when they won the MLS Cup in year 2 under Tata, who was a magnificent head coach. And they've just been chasing that ever since. So they get new head coaches coming through here. They are constantly getting new guys coming through here. The roster has changed so much. There's been so much turnover. Again, chasing what they once accomplished so early on. So for me, it's all about this club that's just continually trying to get back to where they once were very, very early. And that's a tough thing, right? Because they've changed head coaches, managers quite a bit. And I like Pineda. I think he knows soccer, and he came from a major, major club, right, in Seattle. I think he's still settling in ways and still trying to figure it out, and they're still trying to bring players through here. But the one good thing about this club, and I'm sure you figured it out very early on, is that they are willing to spend money, and they're willing to bring in the players. They just have to get them in here.
No, I think you make a really valid point, and something that's been reiterated a lot when talking to the team has just been the new faces. They brought in so many new people last year that even mid-season and on into the playoffs, you could see they were starting to gel better together. But when I talked to Gigi earlier in, like, right before playoffs, he basically said, like, this is a transitional phase for this team right now. Like, he didn't necessarily say we shouldn't be in the playoffs, but he was like, we're here and we're going to do everything we can do to continue on. But the reality is, too, we're transitioning and still getting to know each other. So don't necessarily take the product this year. Take the product you're going to see this upcoming season that they've now talked about. And everyone kind of reiterated today when we were out there talking to them that, yeah, it was a transitional phase. That's really fair to say. But they're bringing in new players. They've replaced Miles Robinson with Stian Gregerson, a Norwegian player who's played in a lot of leagues, who has a lot of mobility at center back. So it'll be very interesting to see how. I think they're going to do some more moves as well. What happens with Thiago Almada? A lot of people interested, but no official offers there as well.
You can't be mad if he leaves, right?
No.
I mean, he's done everything he can here in Atlanta.
Correct. He's played so well. I mean, at this point, it is what it is, and something's probably going to happen. But let's tune into what everyone had to say when we were out there visiting them as they get into week 1 of the preseason.
Has the club received any bona fide offers for Thiago?
No, so I'll handle that. One and the same, like we always do. But so, look, we've gotten a lot of interest in him. Obviously, you guys have seen some of the rumors. That stuff is flattering. We've not gotten an official offer for him or anyone else in the club. And what we'd like to do, going forward with that is, if something concrete starts to happen, we would notify you guys. But at the moment, that's we get a lot of interest and stuff like that, and we can't comment kind of every week on each rumor, but we have not gotten anything formal.
Are y'all done in the transfer window, or are you looking to add one or two more players?
Hopefully we'll be able to announce another one that I think you guys are pretty aware of in the next day or so. And then after that, most likely one more that would be potentially rounding out our squad. So we'll see when that happens. There's not necessarily a rush on that right now, but we feel good. We've gotten to a point where we have pretty much our whole squad complete. In the first week of preseason, which we're excited about. It's interesting for us this year. We're not in a Champions League competition, so we have a chance to have our whole squad together, gel in preseason, and then hopefully get off to a good start. While some of the other clubs are battling with multi competitions, ultimately where we want to get back to.
It looks like, going back to when we spoke with you in December, I think it was, that y'all were able to fulfill all the wants in the transfer window for this upcoming season. Is that correct? And just how would you describe y'all's approach to this transfer window and just the results you've gotten so far?
Yeah, we're really happy with where we are right now at this stage. Now, look, we need to make sure everybody gels. Stian coming in, adapting to the league, adapting to the back line. He has played in multiple countries, but every league's different, right? So hopefully he can hit the ground running like the other guys did in the summer as well. So we feel good about that. The approach has been the same. We have our process. I think we feel really good about our process at the moment. And each kind of year, each window, we feel like we're slightly improving and slightly adjusting to modify, to minimize errors really, and get what we want to get. So we feel really confident about it. But the team has to get on the field and gel.
Carlos, can you talk about the Miles Robinson situation? I don't need to speak for him in terms of how he felt personally, but did his decision surprise the club at all? Did you expect him to move to another MLS team?
Yes and no. I mean, in all honesty, not really move to another MLS team. But Miles is great. We had a excellent dialogue throughout the process. Even the day before he was gonna, before he was gonna announce he was going to Cincinnati, he reached out to me and just thanked us for the club, personally, collectively, his time here. Loved Atlanta, loved everything. So, we've had that relationship with him since the beginning. He wanted to try something new, and we respect that. So it's been good. There was obviously interest in him overseas in the summer. We ended up making the decision to try to push for the playoffs and go and try and win it, rather than take a nominal fee for him and lose a player of his stature in the summer. So we made that decision as a club, and I think it was the right one. And we're okay. He ended up choosing somewhere different, and we wish the best for him. I hope he gets back in with the national team and has a chance to compete in this next World Cup, because it was pretty heartbreaking for him to miss that last one where he was probably going to be a starter. So no, we wish the best for him, and great kid. We were really fortunate to have him as our first draft pick, and we'll see him again soon.
To follow up on that, Cincinnati gave him a one-year deal with a one-year option. Were those terms ever discussed with Miles? There was obviously a contract on the table, but we don't know when.
No, that short-term deal for us was not discussed. We wanted a longer-term deal and something to solidify our defense and have something to build around. And so that's okay. They had other thoughts on that, and that's kind of how the business goes.
Y'all bring in Stian to replace him, another Ligue 2 signing. What about Ligue 2, in y'all's opinion, translates to MLS and allows those players to be successful?
Yeah, it's I know I've seen a few articles that we're mining the talent out of League 2 lately, but it's not anything specific. We have enjoyed how Zonde and Tristan have translated, of course, to over here. That League 1, League 2, it's a physical league, very athletic. Tactically, these guys are very, very intelligent. And the price points as well are something that we can afford within our salary caps, and we feel like we're getting a quality player for, the price is right, so to speak, right? So, but obviously we'll be announcing, some more players from different countries. So it's just happened to be some of the situations have worked out. It's from there. We're not specifically targeting just League 2 with the countries we cover and all the different platforms we have to get the information. our data's coming in. I mean, we were looking at guys from probably 14, 15 different countries, for the holding midfielder and center back position through this window. So.
Is the club going to buy down Saba's contract to open up a DP slot, number one? And number two, the loans for Ibarra, I don't know if the Sosa one is official yet, but do they include kind of easy-to-hit purchase options for the clubs that those players are going to?
Getting all the business done. So I'm going to need to ask you to repeat the first part about it. But
buying down Saba's.
No, so we're not sure yet. So it's really just it's an accounting mechanism situation that we'll probably have 3 to 4 guys that ultimately will make a decision on for that accounting mechanism to buy down.
My expectations, the same as always. I think if you play for a club like Atlanta United, you have to aim for titles, and simple as that.
What did you learn about this league and this team last year that you can apply to this year to help the team win titles?
Well, first of all, it's really important to end up in the regular season in the top 4 spots. You'll have this home advantage, which is for me is really crucial for the playoffs. And for me, that's the most important thing throughout the season, to have a steady performance, be one of the top teams, and end up in the top 4 spots.
How will you be better?
Individually or as a team?
Individually?
Individually. How can I be better? I will work like always. I'm always watching, my videos, the games I played already, and I'm trying to improve day by day.
Is there anything you noticed that you're trying to work on, or want to work on, I should say?
Many things, but it's not something that I really want to mention because, maybe the opponent teams are going to watch me, so I don't want to give them the advantage. No, seriously, now I'm always watching my videos, and even some training videos, so I'm trying to improve every single aspect of my game, to be as more helpful in my team as possible.
Any number of goals in mind?
Number, no. But as I said last year, the main goal is to win the Golden Boot this year, to stay healthy first of all, and by winning the Golden Boot means that you probably have scored lots of goals that will help the team also win some points, and that's one of the main targets for me this year. It's about the individual targets.
You spoke in the locker room early last season about this team needing to kind of learn how to win and learn how to kind of, that's how you become a champion, is kind of learning how to
Yeah.
some of those points. Can you talk about how you saw the team progress in that sense last year and kind of where the mindset is, I guess, now going into this year?
Well, I think that the second part of last season, after the summer, we were a totally different team. We had some very quality players that they made the difference for us. So I think that if we stick together like the same group with some quality additions, we can be even better and end up in a higher spot in the ranking table. So we showed in the second part of the season last year that we're having a better winning mentality than what we had at first. So I think right now we're in a good place, and we're gonna take it day by day, game by game. But I feel way more comfortable and with higher confidence as about my team and my teammates, as about the winning mentality, how we can take it to another level, our game, and to aim for something big. Because we cannot lie to ourselves. Like the first within the season, with these ups and downs, you cannot tell that okay, we were very good offensively, but we were missing something in our game. One of them was probably how we defend altogether, and also the winning mentality that we had lack of it a bit during the season. And I'm talking mostly about during the summer, around there, that we were especially without the new additions. But I think this year is going to be better. Yeah, of course. I'm trying to do some extra research on my body and how what difference can have, for example, one leg to the other, like the length, but how I step, everything. I'm trying to focus on any detail in my prevention, and I think it's gonna be way different this year for me. That's why I wanna stay healthy. That's what I said. It's first of all to stay healthy, and then I trust me and my teammates for something good.
Where does that winning mentality you just mentioned that you want to see, where will that come from? Will it come from leaders like you, from Gonzalo, from players themselves? Where should it come from?
Well, it comes also from the manager, but especially from the dressing room and the character we're gonna show in the field. We can say and speak about anything in the dressing room, but once you go out on the field and you cannot put them within the lines, the 4 lines, then nothing counts. So first of all, we have to show our character on the field. It's something individual for me. It's something that you got it or not as a player. So this year, even the younger players are going to be even more experienced, and I think I believe that they will have also developed their character.
How important was this offseason for you personally? Before this, you had been basically playing since the summer offseason with Celtic, right?
Yeah. For me, it was a lifesaver, and mostly about my body physically. I was feeling that I needed to stop. I needed to stop for a bit because I was playing for 1 year and a half, and my body was keep giving me some signs. Not in the end. In the end, I was feeling great, but during the season, like small, tiny injuries that I never had before, my body was reacting, and for me, it was very crucial to have these days off and to rebuild my body, my fitness, and everything, to be in the top level again.
So we will see how things pan out here in the first week. They're sure to make a couple additional moves. Moving from football to football, there was some big news to come out of the NFL last night concerning the Atlanta Falcons. Emily, they finally interviewed Bill Belichick. The rumors are no more. It is solidified. We haven't been able to talk about this because we are passing ships in the night, essentially. Are you on the bandwagon that is bring Bill Belichick to Atlanta, or are you against it?
I want them to bring in some young coach who has a bright future, new ideas. Nothing against Belichick, one of the best to ever do it. I mean, once he's done coaching, he'll be in the Hall of Fame within seconds. First ballot Hall of Famer. And maybe people might be interested in bringing him here because of his history with good quarterbacks. And obviously the Falcons need a good quarterback. So maybe if he comes here, they can get one and he can develop them, or whatever the case may be. I don't really know. I don't get it. I really don't. And I've not talked to one fan or heard from one fan on social media who's actually excited about this move. So to me, I'm like, is this just doing him a favor by interviewing him? But again, like, if rumors are correct, it sounds like the Falcons are really interested, which I have not heard that, from the Falcons myself. So that's why I'm saying rumors. Mm-hmm. It just sounds like they're very interested in him.
Yeah, a lot of national outlets have reported that interest. I think for me, what it comes down to is, for Arthur Blank, how desperate are you to win and how much are you willing to give up? I don't think Bill Belichick is necessarily just going to go anywhere where they're like, okay, these are our rules and you have to follow it. I don't think, and listen, this is just my opinion, I don't think he wants to deal with a rookie quarterback or a bad quarterback situation, which the Falcons have, which means if they get Bill, they're going to have to go get a quarterback, whether that's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, whatever you may be. I think Bill is looking for the entire house and keys to the castle and whatever is next, and I do think there are teams that will give it to him. I don't know if that's a match made in heaven as far as Arthur Blank and Bill Belichick. Do I think they want someone with a lot more experience and head coaching experience? Yes. But I don't know. I also think, I think there's a lot of talented coordinators out there, but at the same time, that can also be a gamble. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. Let's go into these other coordinators and candidates that are on the list. I'm going to pull up the graphic of who's been interviewed or even requested to interview. And tell me who you think stands out in your mind.
I think the very first guy that they interviewed, McDonald, the Ravens DC, I think he might be an up and coming, superstar possibly. He was under both Harbaughs. So, if you can make it through Jim and John, then I kind of like you already. That
Right.
means that you are really, you've got a strong personality and you're very strong-willed. But he's doing a really good job with the Ravens. The Ravens have one of the best defenses in the league. I like defense. I prefer defense over offense.
That was my next question. Do you prefer defense over offense?
And quite frankly, if you take a look at that list, I keep pointing out how it's more defensive-minded coaches than it is offensive-minded coaches, and that could very well change as the list grows. But right now, you're looking at more defensive guys, and when DQ was here, I've only been covering the team for 7 years, so obviously there's a ton of coaches that I have not covered. But with DQ, he was a defensive-minded coach, and they were successful under him, and he was loved. And that has nothing to do with the fact that he coaches defense, but they were very successful under him. And this year, the Falcons were much better on defense. So I like Raheem Morris. I hope that they do interview him. That's a familiar face around Flowery Branch. Not that there's probably many players still on the team that he actually coached, but he can do a little bit of everything. And he was interim head coach, and I think that he understands the Falcons. But a lot of times, teams don't go back to coaches that they've had because they want something new. So that will be interesting.
No, and I think what's Ejiro Evero, Panthers DC, he's also someone that has been up for jobs for quite some time now and is highly touted basically in the NFL. I'm curious because you said defensive-minded. In any way, shape, or form, do you believe Jerry Gray should stick around or Ryan Nielsen?
I think Nielsen definitely is deserving after just one season. I hate that the Falcons are blocking them from being able to talk to others. Because that tells me that whoever does come in as his coach, they might have to deal with these coordinators. And I don't like that. I don't want anybody to lose their jobs. And I do believe that, whatever their contracts are, they need to be owed that money. But when you're a head coach, you want to come in and you want to bring your people. And you want to be able to establish the culture. You want to be able to establish whatever you want. You're comfortable with certain guys. So forcing a head coach to come in and possibly work with coordinators that they don't know or don't want to do, coach with, I think is a problem. And bringing your point back to Bill Belichick, he's going to want carte blanche. He's going to want to come in there and do whatever he wants to do.
Correct.
And Terry Fontenot is just going to have to take it, right? It's just one of those things. And it is interesting because right now we really haven't heard from Terry yet. Like none of us have, right? He wasn't at the press conference.
That was weird.
Yeah, and a lot of media asked, like, why isn't he here? What's he doing? So I already think he kind of, even though Blank said he hasn't lost any power, it's still the same. I do feel like publicly he's lost some kind of power.
I'll say this, it doesn't work, it doesn't work like this in the NFL. If you bring in a head coach, he wants his own people. And I think that's really going to stink for the Falcons because I do believe in Jerry Gray and Ryan Nielsen. I think they've both done an incredible job and are spoken really highly about in the league. But, it's not always how the cookie crumbles. So we'll see how it all pans out. And, they said they were going to be thorough. I don't think there's a timetable for this. I think they're going to do what's best for the organization, and they're going to take their time talking to everyone.
And they need a quarterback, though, Bailey. If they bring in a new guy when they don't have a quarterback,
I don't think it matters.
We're going to start this all over again.
Correct.
You need to draft a quarterback, or what I keep seeing is like Justin Fields. If Atlanta wants him, they would give up that 8 overall pick that they have, get Justin Fields in. The Bears would have like 1-8 and whatever else they have, and they'll clean shop. And I'm not saying that that's a doable thing. And do we even want Justin Fields in Atlanta? I don't know. But these are all possibilities that could occur depending on the head coach.
I'll give a hot take here. I think if you do get Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, you're in the same spot in the next 2 years trying to figure out.
That's winning now, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Well,
Correct.
Especially with Russell Wilson. If you were to bring in
Correct.
Russell Wilson, you have 2 years.
But
that's it.
I did this research. Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan basically have Russell Wilson's numbers this season compared to Matt Ryan's last year here with the Falcons.
The same.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit before we get out of here, the NFL playoffs. Did you get to watch any of the games? Any stand out to you?
I did. Listen, I went to school in Tampa. I went to USF. Tampa is my team, and anybody who knows me knows that I don't really advertise it very often. Just like I don't advertise the fact that I'm an Orlando Magic fan.
Oh, I didn't know this
So, yeah, I
either.
went to high school in Orlando. But yeah, those are my teams, and I don't talk about it very often, but it was very nice to see Tampa Bay. A team I did not think would make it to the next round win so convincingly.
Smacked the Eagles.
Yeah, I love like the grit that they have. I think that team's taken on their quarterback's identity, and they just go out there and they've just played really good ball last night against an Eagles team that just is going in the complete opposite direction. So you've got the Eagles going one way, the Bucs going the other, and I know it was super disappointing for the Eagles. This is not what they projected their season to be. What they lost 5 of their last 6 or 6 of their last 7, something like that. And they started off 10-1, I believe. So certainly not what a lot of people thought would happen. But I'm excited for that Bucs Detroit game because both of them are underdogs, and I think they're going to like both just try to claw their way.
It's gonna be gritty
to the next round. Yeah, so I thought that game was super fun. And then obviously the Bills in the playoff. If you learned anything or knew anything about the Bills in the playoff with the quarterback they have, that guy doesn't lose in that round. He just doesn't.
No, I was obsessed with the Packers-Cowboys game. I know it was kind of a blowout early, but Jordan Love popping off after being, they didn't know if he was going to live up to the hype of Aaron Rodgers. They struggled in the middle of the season, and then they turned things around to just keep winning, and then blow the Cowboys out against Mike McCarthy, who used to be the Packers head coach, won a Super Bowl there. I thought that was just so fun to watch. Texans-Browns I didn't really care about, but I will tell you the matchup I'm looking forward to is that Texans-Ravens game. I, for no reason, have really enjoyed watching the Ravens this season. Lamar Jackson popping off, the team's exciting. Mark Andrews, I believe, is coming back after being out because of injury. And then the Chiefs-Bills game, I mean, like you mentioned, like that's always a fun matchup in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think these are really good games that we've got next weekend, and I hope that Peacock doesn't steal one away from everybody, but they might. I mean, they might. I don't know.
Broke streaming records. Well, yeah, obviously.
Nothing like that's ever happened
No,
before.
and then everyone cancels their membership.
Right. I mean, come on, guys. It's going to keep happening.
I'm going to stay on theme here with what's on your mind along with the playoffs. How fascinating that the Chargers, during the Steelers game in Buffalo, released that they interviewed Mike Tomlin on social media, and then as soon as he's asked about it in the presser,
he walks out. Bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting times in Pittsburgh. I think that's for sure.
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't love that he did that, especially I don't love that he did it to that reporter. I think it was a fair question, even though he had said he didn't want to talk about it. And it's certainly not something you want to talk about after a game like that. But these are questions that are asked, and you're a pro, and it's not like somebody hasn't asked you a question you haven't liked before.
Correct.
But, it is what it is. Caleb Downs, guys, what's on my mind and has been on my mind and probably will be on my mind for the next week or so is he going to transfer out of Alabama and come to UGA? So far, he is not in the transfer portal. A lot of guys are jumping ship out of Bama since Nick Saban left. I don't blame the kids. That is the world we live in now. You are able to do that. They have 30 days to do it. The transfer portal is wide open for them. But now that his coach, Tavares Robinson, is now on UGA staff, will Downs come back home and play for Georgia? The secondary sometimes is issues. Georgia, if you pick their weakest part of their defense, it is the secondary. Having Caleb Downs come back to Georgia, where he played high school ball, and play under T-Rob and for Kirby, that would really change a lot. And it would be a huge loss for Bama, but we'll have to wait and see.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he played at Mill Creek. His mother was actually my math teacher. She taught me algebra. So I'll have to get the scoop from Miss Downs, see what's going on.
I love that.
But that will do it for this edition of Sports Tonight. For Emily Gagnon, I'm Baillie Burmaster. Make sure to join us throughout the rest of the week. We'll have all the latest on the Falcons head coaching search as well. You guys have a fantastic night.